All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What is going on? Happy Friday. Talking baseball, 12-game slate. Doesn't look like too much weather that we have to worry about, which is a nice little change of pace. I'm joined by my man, Hamwich. We're breaking it down, this 12-gamer. A lot of pitching options. Looks like pretty chalky when it comes to hitting at least one spot, I think. We'll get a lot of ownership, but 12-game slate should be a fun one, Hamwich. Before I bring you in, though, this show is sponsored by Drafters. Head over to drafters.com. Use the promo code SHIPIT. They will match you 100% for $20 all the way up to $100. Hamwich and I were talking a little pre-show. He's like, I'm obsessed with the Drafters, man. Got my free 100 bones from him. He used the promo code. Very fun over there. Drafting $3 contests. They got $20 contests as well. 300K up top. So use that promo code. Ship it is the promo. Yeah, match you 100% up to $100. Hamwich will bring you in, man. Hope your Friday is going well. Fun little MLB slate. And the All-Star break's coming up. I did just learn that actually a couple of days ago. I'll be on vacation, so I planned it pretty much perfectly without even knowing. Only a couple more days, then we got the All-Star break. What's going on, though, man? How you doing?
Yeah, doing well. No, yeah, nice little 12-gamer today. I did sign up over at Drafters. We're sitting with a legendary title himself, coming off a 250K winner on Drafters last year. So get over there. Best ball's awesome stuff. So do that. And yeah, let's talk about this slate. I think we got some winners. I think there's going to be two spots on offense that are going to be heavily concentrated. So we'll break that down and kind of see where we can get different and find some winners for the people.
Absolutely. Always got to say hi to people in chat first. Dante saying the best ball videos are great. Keep them coming. Every single week Marley and I will be hopping on, talking best ball, doing a live draft. So make sure to join that. Join the draft. Ask any questions you have. Mike Carr, Brian England, the first two, always the first two in here. You love to see it. Hope you guys are doing well. Nick's in here. Gator Nation, Richie Smalls, Bill, Paraby, K-Ped's in here. No Stop. What's going on? Sean V back here as well. Andrew Martinez already asking questions. Doesn't even say hi. Gets right to it. We'll touch on that, Andrew Martinez. Pitching game by game. As you know, Nades is in here. Jake's in here. Bump as well. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. Again, all we ask from you, like button, subscribe button. Takes 2 seconds out of your day. Helps us bring these free shows every single day. That's enough of that, though. 12 games. It's a lot to talk about, Hamwich. So let's dive right into it. I'm very excited to see what you're going to say about pitcher because it's a slate that I think there's multiple ways you can go. Unlike the last couple where pitching has been so gross. Well, I'm going to start 9K and above, and then we'll go 8K and above, and then we'll go the rest of them because there's multiple options in this 9K range. Corbin Burns sitting there right at 9K. Think he will be one of the highest owned pitchers on the slate. Second highest K prop on the board. Carlos Rodon making his first start. I think that's a pretty easy cross off right there. Tell me if I'm wrong. Hunter Brown 9.2, Luis Castillo 9.4K, Zach Gallen at 9.6, Abbott at 9.9. I think of this range, Gallen, Burns, Abbott probably the highest owned, but I think pitching ownership pretty spread out on this slate. What are your thoughts, 9K and above?
Yeah, this is a pretty dynamic group, I think, of pitchers. We got a lot of talented arms going out tonight. Got a lot of these pitchers are having good matchups. The one I would cross off right off the bat, and you alluded to it, and Andrew asked, Carlos Rodon, 9,100 first start out. His last rehab start that he did in AAA, I think he got up to, I think it was 53 or 58 pitches. And I was looking all day on the internet, couldn't find anything about what his pitch count was, but a guy that just had forearm tightness and shoulder tightness, I don't expect him to get above, let's call it 75 pitches. So at 9,100 with these other guys, I think he's an easy cross off. Just starting at the top, Andrew Abbott, absolutely electric his last start. Gets a Milwaukee team that strikes out and not very good against left-handed pitching. So I think Andrew Abbott, who's 9,900 on DK, I think he is definitely in play today, especially facing this Brewers lineup. Zach Gallen gets the Pirates on the road. So Zach's at home, Pirates are on the road. That's a very good matchup for Zach Gallen tonight. Luis Castillo, I had a ton of interest in George Kirby last night. Luis Castillo striking out 28% of right-handed batters that he's faced over the last 30 days. Gets to face those same 8 Astros that Kirby did last night. I actually think Castillo's a better pitcher than Kirby. So I'm definitely interested in Luis Castillo. He's probably my number 1 up there. Hunter Brown, right below Castillo, gets this Mariners team that strikes out in bunches. Ronel Blanco struck them out numerous times last night. That's who I was on as my favorite stack. Eugenio Suarez did double dong, but Blanco was, I think, SP1 or SP2 last night on the slate. And then Corbin Burns, I just don't think I'm going to get there. Title. He's really struggling to strike out right-handed batters at under 20% over the last 30 days, right above 25% versus lefties the last 20 days. But with those 3 I just mentioned, it's going to be or 4 I mentioned, it's going to be Luis Castillo number 1 for me, Gallen, Abbott, and then Brown in that order for me up there in that 9K range.
Yeah, I love it. I think Corbin Burns, like I said, maybe second highest owned pitcher, maybe up there. And on a slate like this, again, I think ownership will be pretty spread out. All those guys outside of Rodon, I expect to get a good amount of ownership. But yeah, Burns really has not looked. He's been all over the place this year. I keep talking about it was the arbitration. Brewers screwed him over like $800,000 going into the season. I think his headspace was all over. He's already so pissed at the Brewers, all of that. Who knows, right, wrong, and different. But he just really hasn't been the old Corbin Burns as of late. However, second highest K-prop on the board. And you look at these, I always like looking at umpires. All of these guys in that top range, extreme pitchers umpire for the Brewers in Milwaukee for Abbott and Corbin Burns, which is nice to see. Hunter Brown also pitchers umpire him and Castillo in that game as well, though, which is nice to see. So a lot of the top arms up there do have good umps behind the dish. I definitely like Abbott. I mean, I like picking on the Brewers. I'm not scared of this offense one bit. I think him, 9.9K. There's plenty of cheap bats on this slate. Gallen might be not, I wouldn't say 2 times higher owned, but 1.5x 2 times. I like Gallen, but if it's going to be 1.5x 2 times the ownership, I would much prefer going to Abbott right there. Highest K prop on the board, 7.5. Little juice on the under, but Abbott's been good, no doubt about that. I think I don't know how much run support he gets against Burns, but prefer Abbott there. Definitely like Luis Castillo, as you mentioned, though. All these righties against Houston. Castillo, I agree. I think he's better than Kirby as well. Definitely like that. And what did you rank Hunter Brown in that? Did you rank him?
Yeah, fourth? I mean, I like Hunter Brown just because of the Mariners strike out so much. But I would still say he's number 3B/4 for me. I mean, I really like Castillo. I really like Abbott. I would have Gallen and Brown. See, I'm a little bit lower on Gallen just because of the strikeouts. The Pirates are only striking out, and I say only, but 24% from the right and left-handed side of the plate is what he's striking them out at. So, and I think the best offense out of that 4 are the Reds as well. Gator Nation said, since he is in Fuego, I agree. They're the best offense out of those 4. So that's why I'm out on Burns. And then, so I would say Castillo 1, Abbott 2, and then Gallen and Brown for me would be 3A, 3B.
Yeah, and we're going to go touch on 8K and above, and then 8K to 9K and then below. But I think there's plenty of salary relief on this slate, and I like a lot of these pitchers up there pairing 2 above 9K, whether it is Brown, Castillo, whether it is Abbott, Gallen, any of the combination up there. I think you definitely have the salary to do it on this slate, and some of my favorite pitchers are up there for sure. And I did misspeak, though, about the K prop. Dylan Cease has the second. Him and Abbott are pretty much tied with 7.5. So Corbin Burns sitting third with the most juice on the over. But before we go 8 to 9K range, Nova's always late. Nova didn't get a shout out, so I got to shout out a couple more people. George came in here, DFS player, Corey Pooler, Nova, Chunky Blue, Kobe as well, Whaler. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with. When you guys get in right away, if you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, helps us out a ton. Takes 2 seconds. Just get in the routine of it. Nice, easy routine that helps everybody out. Doesn't hurt anybody. Keeping it rolling, though. 8K to 9K range. Justin Verlander in there. Dylan Cease, again, one of the highest K props for Dylan Cease. Get a little price decrease or price discount from the top guys as well. Yu Darvish, Bailey Ober, Jordan Montgomery. Some big names in this range. I don't know how much I like him compared to the upper range. Like Verlander, he's fine, but I just don't know. The strikeouts aren't going to be the old Verlander. We already know that. It's pretty apparent. I want upside on this slate. I'm not sure it's the right one for Verlander, so I'm out on him. The Mets absolutely went ham yesterday. Yu Darvish. I like the other guys more I mentioned above. Cease would be my favorite in this range just because of the upside he has. Obviously, there is some risk, but you play tournaments. If you get 4 DK points, yeah, you're probably not winning anything anyway. He does have that upside, though, to break the slate. He's my favorite in this range, but I really like the upper range a lot more than I like this 8 to 9K. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think. See, I'm a little different in the fact that I think a lot of these guys are viable in this range. The first two names I'd cross off: Griffin Canning, just because he's playing the Dodgers. Not going to pick on that, and then Tony Gonsolin, who's been underachieving all season. Not going to play him. The one case you can make for Gonsolin is that Angels lineup is so bad. We saw what Seth Lugo, we saw what Joe Musgrove did to those that them 2 times ago. But you got Otani. You got that blister that came out. Is that affecting his batting? We just don't know. But I don't think you have to go to Gonsolin, and then to your point, Verlander. Not going to Verlander. Strikeouts just aren't what they're doing. Kate Upton is taking that all his Ks away from him. So hey, that's not a bad consolation prize.
No, I'll take it.
Lose some Ks, but so I'm out on Verlander. But let's start Yu Darvish. Out on Yu Darvish. He's striking out over 30% of the lefties. But they're just not. He's only going to face 4, maybe 5 lefties tonight, and then you got Alonso from the right-handed side of the plate, Marte. So I'm out on Darvish. Do like Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease has been really good with his strikeouts over the last 30 days, striking out over 40% of right-handed hitters. Going to face 5 in the confirmed lineup. I really like that. Goldschmidt didn't play last night, so he's playing tonight. So I don't know if he's battling an injury or what, but I know he gets to face 5 righties, striking out close to 30% of his lefties. Obviously, his K prop is 7.5 for a reason. I think he gets that. I think he's a little bit lower owned than those other guys because you do see the Goldschmidts, the Arenado names, and people don't like to click against that. I don't think this Cardinals team is as good as they've been in the past. Roughly 15 games under 500. So I think Dylan Cease is a great option there. And then 2 other names I want to touch on. Bailey Ober actually was on the Orioles the last time he pitched. He pinched against the Orioles and threw an absolute gem. And then just digging into the numbers, it was obviously a bad pick by me because he threw, I think, 7, 8 innings. I like Bailey Ober tonight. Plays the same Orioles team who obviously went off last night. Nades with a double dong with Hinder Goat leading off the game, but I don't think he gets there today. I really like the way his pitches look against the Orioles. Then the last one, Jordan Montgomery's been absolutely on fire his last 3 starts as well. 28, 24, 20, looks like 27 DK points. I like him against the White Sox. Jake Berger is concerned. Luis Robert, we'll talk about some of those bats, but for the most part, I think Jordan Montgomery can get it done. I don't think I'll get there just because I like some other guys above him, but I don't think it's the craziest play in tournaments.
Yeah, a great breakdown there. So how would you rank the Bailey Obers of the world? Of course, we're talking a little point per dollar. This range, does any of them match up to the Luis Castillos, the Abbotts of the world, any of those guys up top? Because Cease as well. It's not the biggest price decrease.
In my opinion, I think Cease out of that group, Cease is the closest one, or the one that can lead the slate, in total points, right? Obviously 8,500 for him on DK. I think he could lead the slate. I don't think Ober or Montgomery have the strikeout makeup to lead a slate just like Cease would. I think Cease could give you, 10 to 12 Ks, 3 earned runs, and get you 30 DK points and lead the slate.
Absolutely. So another question, kind of like every slate's different. Like yesterday's slate, I was like, you get me 15 at pitching, I'll live. Someone will get it done with bats. On this slate, 12 games, a lot of viable pitchers, solid pitchers. Like no one's really projecting for 20 plus on this slate, but you get a lot in between 15 to 18, a lot of 5.5 K props in there. Are you trying to hunt upside more on this slate with pitching? Are you expecting multiple guys to go out there and get you mid 20s, or are you fine getting 18 to 20 and you're fine playing it safe at a spot?
Yeah, for me, the way I'm going to play it tonight on DK is I'm going to stack pitchers that I think can get me 10Ks, that have 10K plus upside. Who are those guys to me? Cease, Castillo, Abbott, Darvish if I had to, just from a salary perspective, which I don't think I would because I like Cease better. So those are my 3 main pitchers on DK and even on FanDuel for that matter. Cease, Castillo, and Abbott. Abbott is a little bit pricier on FanDuel. Yeah, on FanDuel. I think he's 10-6 on FanDuel, which I don't like him as much over there, but I do think that he has that 10K upside that you need, that 60 to 70. I think 2 nights ago, Pablo Lopez had 73 on FanDuel, which is the crazy thing is he wasn't even on the winner in the queue. But so you didn't necessarily need him in that,
Wow.
and yeah, in that queue. It was the Alec, the kid from the Royals. I think he scored 25. But anyway, I like, me personally, I like taking pitchers that can get me 10 plus Ks, and I think there's 2 or 3 in this slate with the bats. The bats have to be there as well, and I think we can find some low owned bats, low owned stacks that can get us there with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned on FanDuel, Abbott is more expensive at 10.6, but we always know you can find cheap bats on FanDuel. It'll keep his ownership down a little more. Of course, people are going to play him. I think pitcher relatively spread out on both sides, but plenty of options, 8K and above on DK. So let's go dive below 8K. Not many names I'll get to, but there's 2 that stand out. There's one that really stands out. It's the full punt, 4K. Cody Bradford gets this Washington team. Washington's not a team I really love picking on. They're pesky. They don't strike out as much, but you're talking 4K and Bradford stuff. The pitch count's kind of unknown. We're not really sure. Could he go 80s, 70? Yeah, he could, no doubt about that. But the control's good. Just struck out 8 his last time out, or 2 times ago. I'd take 15 at 4K. 13, he got 1 game. 11, 12. What are your thoughts on this slate? Is there enough big arms that don't mess with some unknowns with Cody Bradford, or could you make a case 4K, pair him with an Abbott, something like that, get bats, than anybody else you're looking at 8K and below?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to look at the context of the slate, and I think, if you wanted to stack the Rangers, who are in a great spot, and if you wanted to pair those with the big bats of the Red Sox, I don't think it's the worst idea to get down to Bradford. Me personally, I don't. In tournaments, I'm going to be fading one of those 2 teams that we'll talk about here in a minute. So I don't necessarily need to get down to Bradford, but I think he's a great play, right, at 4K. If he can get you that 15 again, I think it's very viable too with this Nationals team and this Nationals lineup. I think that's a reasonable thing to think. The one name that I would play down here, and it's gross.
Let me get a guess. Jamison Tyon, because these Yankees are cheeks.
Former Yankee great
And
Jamison
the
Tyon,
revenge. Yep.
who gets absolutely obliterated by left-handed bats. And lo and behold, the Yankees don't have any left-handed bats. They got McKinney and they have Rizzo. Other than that, he's facing 7 righties. He's striking righties out 28% of the time over the last 30 days. It is gross to say those 2 names, Jamison Tyon. And if I was in a pinch, I would play him. I'm not personally getting there, but I don't think it's the craziest thing if someone does in a tournament.
Yeah, you get the little revenge narrative. Hey, G. Rison was right about a little Evaldi revenge last night. He said he was at the clubs doing whatever he was doing. You definitely didn't want Evaldi last night. But yeah, Tyon, I mean, this Yankees team, saw it with Bradish. We saw it with Creamer. These guys, they're not scary one bit. Tyon really cheap down there as well. So anybody, Richie Smalls, Gator Nation, talking about our pitching rankings over here at SHIPIT Nation. Always a great tool to use, especially on a slate like this with so many viable pitchers. It looks like looking at those pitcher rankings is definitely something I do. Anybody besides a Jamison Tyon that you get to 8K and below, or is that
no, yeah. I mean, I really wasn't considering Bradford, but I mean, looking at his game log, and I know that that first start he wasn't on the main slate, but he came out and had something crazy like 8Ks against Detroit, I believe it was. If you wanted to pair his bats, because we know those Rangers bats are so expensive. Trevor Williams isn't a very good pitcher, so if you wanted all those Rangers bats, I don't think Bradford's the worst idea.
Yeah, and who was in chat? Frankie Cordero, Brandon's talking about. Yes, he's also in the 9 hole too. So 6 righties. Frankie Cordero, we're not too scared about.
Frankie Cordero could have 3 bats up there. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, he is a lefty.
He is a lefty. I did see that too, but
yeah.
Frankie, I'm not worried about Frankie Cordero or whatever his name is.
What about the one other guy I'll mention, because the K prop solid 7.7K, Aaron Savale. Yesterday, the chalk was Bibby. He did okay, I guess. I mean, you definitely didn't need him for the ownership, but 5.5K prop, some juice on the over. He's projecting decent. He gets a Royals team I'm not too scared to pick on. Any thoughts there, or you're just going to find the money for Ober, Montgomery, Cease?
Yeah, I can't click Aaron Savale's name. I have a hard time clicking that name. I do like 2 of these Royals bats. When we get to bats, I wouldn't full stack the Royals, but yeah, I'm not getting to Savale. and the projection that I look at has him projected at 4.5 Ks, which is like middle of the pack. I'm not clicking on his name.
Sounds good. We did just get the Red Sox lineup. We'll get to hitting, but that is one of the chalkiest teams, no doubt, on this slate. So that did come out. Rank, we'll say 4 pitchers. A lot of viable ones. Point per dollar, how you see yourself playing it, all the way 4K to 9.9K. What you doing at pitcher? Rank them.
Yeah. So number 1, Luis Castillo for me. Number 2 is going to be Andrew Abbott. Number 3, I would put Dylan Cease. Number 4, I'm going to go Hunter Brown just for his K upside.
I like it. I'm going Abbott, Cease for the upside, Hunter Brown. I'll go Jameson Taillon all the way down there. Picking on these Yankees has done good, and the ownership. I don't think too many people get to them, but
so who would your number 1 was who?
Abbott. I love picking on these Brewers.
So no Castillo in your top 4.
No, and like I said, I don't mind Castillo. The thing, what I love about the Abbott game, I love seeing extreme pitchers umpire behind the dish. I love the picking on the Brewers. He's been good. I'll take the upside there a lot. And Castillo, people are talking about it. He just doesn't grade as well in our pitcher rankings. Totally think Castillo's fine. Again, all these righties, Houston's throwing out there. There's a lot of good pitchers on this slate, though. Like I think Corbin Burns, like he's going to be owned. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. I don't think I like him more than you do, but these Reds have been hot on this slate, especially when he'll be one of the highest owned guys. I think a pivot to Hunter Brown right there. Abbott. I like Gallen, I think a little more than Castillo right in that range too. But yeah, I mean, you trust yourself, Hamwich. You like Castillo, definitely keep rolling.
I don't know. You and Sean V. Sean V says it's a terrible play, so maybe I need to do some more research on Castillo. He's my number 1, so maybe that may change between now and 6 p.m. Central.
No, don't do that, because then once he puts up a 55 piece, you're going to be kicking yourself for not trusting it. That's why I love Sean V in chat, though. He has strong takes. There's no doubt about that. Like all of us, he's wrong. He's wrong. He's right all the time. Love seeing Sean V in here, though. He does his research. He has his knowledge. He drops strong takes in chat. So he's not on Castillo today. Is Sean V. But always love seeing Sean B in chat.
And our pitcher rankings sure do not like Luis Castillo. I just have to
Yeah, that is. I like looking at that as well. Boomer's pitcher rankings have been very good, so I do use that as differentiating stuff like that
for sure.
So yeah, that is pitching on this slate. 12 games, a lot of options at pitcher, no doubt about that. We got game by game. We got 12 games to break down. But if you want Hamwich's core, Hoops slate plan, Hoops core, G Ryzen slate plan, Nades also threw one in Discord as well. His might be on the site too. All of that is up at SHIPITNation.com. You play cash games, you get cash reports on FanDuel and DraftKings as well. Big UFC card tomorrow. All content is up on the site for that right now. PGA Showdown as well. That has absolutely been printing. All of that, $59 a month. Way too cheap, in my opinion. The bosses, that's what they set it at. We want to give you the best deal out there, though. Projections, you need them. We got them. Hitter rankings, stack rankings, pitcher rankings like we're talking about. All over here at SHIPITNation.com. Head over, get in the Discord if you do join as well. And always, like button, subscribe button. If you don't sign up, hey, we still love seeing you in chat. You bring good mojo. You hit that like button. Absolutely love to have you in chat. So game by game, Hamwich. Let's start with the first game of the night. We got Chicago Cubs, New York Yankees, Jameson Taillon, Carlos Rodon on the mound. 80 degrees in New York, and 8 total in this one. So Andrew Martinez's first question when he came in, before even saying hi, should we pick on Carlos Rodon? Are you playing any Cubbies on this slate and any Yankees?
Yeah, before I break that down, head over to Ship It Nation. Check out that UFC article title. I said it on my show, and he's here. I'm going to give all the people the love, man. That's the best article he's written. I'm not a big MMA DFS player, but I'm going to tomorrow. Title has the best article in the business, so check that out on our site. That. Yeah. So anyway, getting back to this game, I'm not going to have any Cubs. Tambo talks about it all the time. I think you do as well. We don't have to necessarily play the pitcher or the bats. And I just don't think the bats are going to do enough. And I don't think Rodon's going to pitch enough innings. I think 5 or 6 innings out of him, 75 pitches. But so no Cubbies for me. And then a little bit of interest in Jameson Taillon if I had to, striking out, 28% of righties over the last 30 days. And these lefties don't really pose any threat to me. I know we like McKinney in our rankings, but he's batting, I think, in the 7 hole tonight. So no, I'm going to say no Yankees for me, even the the three lefties, none of the three lefties.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a cross-off game here. So many good spots on the slate, so many big totals. You can't play everyone. If the Cubs or the Yankees beat me on this slate, hey, I'll move on to tomorrow, no doubt about that. We'll keep it rolling. Next game, a lot better one on paper. Texas Rangers, Washington Nationals. Cody Bradford, Trevor Williams. Got a 10 total, 85 degrees in Washington. Ball will be flying here, no doubt about that. The Rangers have one of the highest totals on the slate. As you talked about earlier, though, if you want to play some of these Rangers, especially the Seagers, the Semyons, the Dolis Garcias of the world, they are expensive. We did talk about cheap pitching options you can get to, though. I mean, I like picking on Trevor Williams. I like this lineup that can roll it over. Just get out of Fenway, go to another good park. It's warm outside. Sign me up for some of these Rangers. And I mean, they're not going to, there's other more popular teams. Like I think the Red Sox are definitely going to be the highest owned. Of course, some people are going to play the Rangers, but there's ways to get different in this stack. There's no doubt about that. Sign me up for Texas. As far as the Nats, I don't know. I'm curious what you got to say. 4.3 total is not the worst. They will have cheap bats to make secondary stacks work. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Texas. I mean, so out of the two between Boston and Texas, I totally can see Boston or Texas going off, but I will not have them. I'm playing numerous teams over on FanDuel tonight, and they're just not. They're just so expensive. It's tough to fit in pitching. I mean, even on DK, I mean, you're looking at 6,000 for Simeon, 6,200 for Seager, 5,700 for Garcia. I mean, there's no way to get two top tier pitchers and the Rangers stack. Trevor Williams, he's not great by any stretch, so that's not what I'm trying to say. He just hasn't been. He's given up a few long balls the last couple of games, but he limited the damage against the Phillies last Sunday. And he's been pitching better, and just the numbers that I look at, the price doesn't warrant playing the Rangers tonight. So I'm off the Rangers in my core. I might have one or two teams of them in the queue that I'm playing over on FanDuel tonight, but for the most part, the Rangers, I'll come in underweight than the field on the Rangers, and then I have a ton of interest in Lane Thomas. I think Lane Thomas profiles really well against Bradford, who's a lefty. Lane Thomas has been great all season. Got snubbed from the All-Star team, in my opinion, but he's been smacking the ball. He has power. He has speed. He can do it all. Bat and lead off. So you're hoping 4 at bats out of him. So I'll have some Rangers. I'll just come in lower owned, and then Lane Thomas is the only national that I have interest in.
Yeah, the Lane Thomas call. I agree. He's been so good this year, man. I hate it. The guys like that. It's like send him to the All-Star game. It's probably the only time they'll ever get there. He definitely did deserve that. And Steve, any weather concerns in the Texas game? This looks like definitely this worst weather spot on the slate. It looks like it definitely should play. Again, I'm no weatherman. I look at other people, so I'm relaying information. Again, I'm not a meteorologist, whatever it may be. Looks like a possible chance for a delay. So if you are looking at Bradford, monitor the weather there. As far as hitters, if you want to play hitters in this game, though, I think you should be fine. But again, no weatherman over here. Keeping it rolling, plenty of games on this slate. Another warm one, Kansas City Royals, Cleveland Guardians, Daniel Lynch, Aaron Savale on the mound. 8 total, 80 degrees. Guardians, they were definitely popular yesterday. Only put up 6, but if you had the Jose Ramirez, the Jimenez of the world, the Nailers, they got it done with the long ball yesterday, so they definitely got there. They're going to be low owned today, 4.6 total. I don't know. I definitely don't love this game. What are your thoughts, though?
Yeah, I don't love this game either. Yeah, you said it last night. I mean, back-to-back bombs for the Guardians. Jimenez was stealing the bases. I think he had 3 stolen bases last night, so they definitely got there. I think you dubbed it, and Hoop stole it. Dusty Daniel Lynch
Yeah.
on the bump tonight. I don't have any Guardians. They generally don't beat you just because they don't hit a lot of home runs. I don't think anybody foresees somebody stealing 3 more bases tonight. So I'll be off the Guardians just because I just don't think they have slate winning upside, especially in a 12-game slate. I mentioned Savali. No interest in Savali. I do have tons of interest in Salvador Perez as a one-off catcher on DK. I think he does really well tonight. So if I was going to play any Royals, I might do a mini or even just a 2-man of Bobby Witt and Salvador Perez for the Royals. But those are the only 2 that I have interest in. If you wanted to do a mini, I think Melendez would be the third piece that I would go for the Royals, but that's all the interest I have in the game.
Yeah, and you'll definitely get him really low on too. Never hates Salvi filling out that catcher position, using it as a one-off little mini stack, something like that. Never will say no there. But yeah, if that game beats me, 8 total right there, I'm with you on the Guardians. They won't be on my squad. I'll just say that. Nope. Keeping it rolling again. Like button helps us out a ton. 185 watching, 60 likes. Solid. Let's make a push to 100 though. I think that's very doable. We appreciate it as always. Keeping it rolling. Next game on the slate, Fenway, Oakland Athletics, Boston Red Sox. We got an opener, and then we get Luis Medina coming in. Then on the Boston side, Brennan Bernardino. That's a bullpen game too. I have no clue who that guy is, but it looks like a bullpen game on the Red Sox and a potential or we get a long reliever. Who knows how long Medina is going to be in. I mean, this is why everyone's going to go to these Red Sox. Why are they going to the Red Sox? Well, Oakland has no bullpen. Medina's no good. It's warm in Fenway. Wind's blowing out a little bit, it looks like, too. The order, you can find cheap bats in this Red Sox order. Everyone's going to be playing these Red Sox. If you do play them, how do you play? Like 6 through 9, they're all below 3K. 1 through 5, no one's above 5K. People are going to go there, no doubt. It's baseball is what I say. They're the chalkiest team on a 12-game slate. You can always make a case to fade them. However, on paper, Hamwich, I think you're going to say, man, this is a good spot. And Jake says Medina sneaky. I don't know what slate you're playing, Jake, but if you want a little head-to-head action, you can find me in the lobby. You play Medina. I'll even play Bradford for you, Jake. Just messing with you. But what do you got in this one?
Yeah, it'd be tough. It's going to be tough to click any Oakland names. Obviously, they're not any good offensively. I don't care who's pitching, but yeah, I mean this Red Sox team is going to be very popular tonight. I'm not a fan of this bullpen. No one is. I'm not a fan of Medina. But to me, he doesn't give up a lot of power, or hasn't in the last 30 days. And with the Red Sox being this chalky, I think I'm going to be lower than the field, just like on the Rangers. I just think there's other spots, in my opinion, where we can go. They're going to be lower owned. I mean, obviously Fenway, they play so much better at home against Fenway. Got the monster. They put up 10 last night, a quiet 10, I think. No home runs. It was just more dink and dunk, and they got the job done that way. You didn't need them on the winner. So, even if they can obviously get 10 and not beat you, I'll be lower owned, but I think it's tough to full fade the Red Sox. But man, they're tough to click on, in my opinion, when they're going to be chalk like this.
Yeah, how I approach it is if you play GPPs and you fade, if there's one team on a slate that, and like I said, I don't think they're head and shoulders above the rest, but I feel pretty confident they will be the chalkiest team on the slate. You fade that on 12-game slate with multiple other teams that have totals above 5 and stuff like that. I feel like that's got to be long-term profitable. The Red Sox, you play cash games, you're going to have some Red Sox. Look at our stuff over here at Chip Nation. Started to put it up on DK. You're going to be playing some Red Sox, but GPPs, yeah, game theory wise, 12-game slate, other options. I think there's better spots you can go. I'm curious to hear a couple more of your stacks that you like. We still got 8 games to touch on, so still plenty over here. Next game on the slate, I don't think it's going to be one of these two teams. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Hunter Brown, Luis Castillo on the mound. Mariners, Astros, 7 total. 2 respectable pitchers we liked. Nothing for me.
Yeah, my number 1 and number 4 pitcher on the slate.
3B.
Yeah.
Number 3B.
Yeah, 3B. Yeah, 3B. I'm going to pass on this game. No bats for me. Just Sean V's boy, Luis Castillo.
Jake, he's really honed in on Medina right there. Hey, Jake, you owned me with Kramer earlier this week. You absolutely got that one right. So you get Medina. Well, the All-Star break. I don't know the next time I'll see you, Jake, but you remind me if he goes out there and shoves one. Next game on the slate, 8.5 total. Baltimore Orioles, Minnesota Twins, Cole Irvin, Bailey Ober on the mound. You like some Bailey Ober, so I don't think you'll have any Baltimore. As far as the Twins, they're going to be low owned. Okay, team total, only 75 degrees though. This Twins team feels like they're never on a winner either. So what are your thoughts there? I don't love it.
Yeah, Bailey Ober for me. So no O's. I know they were hot last night. I could play a few Twins as a one-off. I mean, Byron Buxton profiles really well to me. Willie Castro batting there in the 5-hole, I believe, tonight. So those two I like. But yeah, the thing and the thing that frustrates me and it's tough to play is when they just pinch hit people all the time. It's just so tilting. I mean, Buxton doesn't have a good chance of getting pitch hit for, neither does Correa. So, I mean, those the ones I would play would be Buxton, Castro, and then Correa if I wanted to do a little mini. But if I was just doing two, it would be Buxton and Castro. But just that's it for me on the Twin side.
Yeah, this next game, I'm not going to have too much interest in either. Two late night. I mean, we talked about them last night. One of them definitely didn't get there. I like the later games a little more today. I like the Rangers more than you so far. I think the Nats make a little sense as well, but these late games, we'll get to them. This next game, I don't have much interest for bets, though. Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Andrew Abbott, Corbin Burns, 7.5 total. You did mention you didn't really like Corbin Burns, though, and these Reds have been hot. You get leverage off of Corbin Burns as well. The problem is, man, you are paying for these bats. Outside of 8 and 9, you're paying almost 5K, at least 4.7K for all these guys. They're going to be very low owned. Corbin will be pretty high owned. There is enough value when it comes to pitching, though. You taking any shots, mini stack, full stack against Burns with these Reds?
No, I mean I love watching Ellie De La Cruz play. He's just so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to play him. I mean, there's to me there's no point in playing the Red. And I shouldn't say there's no point, but we could pick on a bad pitcher tonight, I believe, especially at much lower cost. And I don't have any interest in Burns, but he's a respectable major league pitcher where we could pick on the Trevor Williams and the Medinas of the world that who I'll be lower. But my point is, there's worse pitchers to pick on. I don't think we need to pick on Corbin Burns tonight.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. It's just 3.6 total. So many bad pitchers on 12-game slate. So many teams that, like we just talked about, the Twins, who are going to have very little ownership too. And I didn't love them, but they have almost a full run, higher total, going against a way worse pitcher. I don't think you're getting enough leverage against Burns. This was a 5-game slate, 6-game slate. Burns was 60% owned. That's the case when I'll be like, yeah, the Reds make a lot more sense. I just don't think it's that type of slate. We're flying through these, but I love it. We're not wasting your time. If we don't like a game, we're not going to tell you something we don't like. A couple of those right there. 7 total, 8.5 total, 7.5 total. And we go right here to an 8 total. Jordan Montgomery, Dylan Cease, 70 degrees in Chicago, 8 total. We like Cease. He definitely has K upside, but we have seen Cease get hit around. No doubt about that. Any interest in these Cardinals and Jordan Montgomery? The White Sox hit left-handed pitching better than they hit right-handed pitching, but I don't know. Are the White Sox going to be on the winner today?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't really have any interest in the Cardinals. I do have interest in Cease and his ability to strike out righties at over 40%. He's facing 5 of those, like I said earlier. So no Cardinals for me, and no real interest in Montgomery. But no real interest in the White Sox. We're very high on Montgomery over here at SHIPIT Nation tonight in the starting pitcher rankings. The only White Sox that I would play as a one-off would be an outfielder, Luis Robert. In the 3-hole, he does profile well versus Montgomery. Jake Berger, maybe. He typically hits lefties well. Andrew Vaughn as well. That would be the reason.
Eloy homered yesterday. He's been a little hotter as of late.
Yeah, so they have some. They do have some righties, and they hit left-handed pitching well enough, in my opinion, to get off Montgomery. But I'm not picking on Montgomery as hot as he's been. And like I said, I think we can get to other bats tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I wouldn't mind Robert, Eloy, Jake Berger, something like that. But yeah, I'm not full stacking either of these sides. Don't even love the mini stacks as much, but I think some of the White Sox power righties are fine. 4 games left, and Hamlich, you need to tell me what to do with this one because we got a lot right on the show, G. Rise and I yesterday. No doubt about that. But one thing we absolutely got wrong was these Diamondbacks and Carlos Carrasco. You go from one old guy that I thought was a bum in Carrasco who just shut him out to another old guy in Rich Hill for the Pirates. D-backs, I like them again today, but man, did they just absolutely shove it to me yesterday. I'm not picking on Zach Gallen, so no Pirates. These D-backs look good again, but I'm a little scarred from yesterday. However, we played the game called Daily Fantasy Sports. People have recency bias. Sometimes it does lower ownership a bit. I don't know. I think people are going to play Boston. I think people are going to play Texas. People are going to play the Dodgers. People are going to want other stacks more than the Diamondbacks after we just saw hopefully the lineup doesn't come out for a little bit. I like the D-backs again. Yes, I'm scarred, but I see the ownership. I see Rich Hill on the mound. I have some interest, but Corbin Carroll's definitely going to be out too. Bill B mentioned. I mean, it does not look good. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was all year he's out. So monitor that for sure. But that makes a stack cheaper too, which if you want to Abbott, you want a Castillo pairing like that. Long story short, I like these D-backs again, but man, you tell me.
Yeah, they got some. I mean, obviously losing Corbin Carroll does hurt their lineup, but Christian Walker, I think is profiles very well in the 4-hole. He hits left, he's pretty good. Evan Longoria projected to be in the 5-hole. I mean, they're trotting out projected 7 righties against Rich Hill, the ageless wonder Rich Hill. I just don't think that Rich Hill has what it takes, and I don't think that there should be any reason why you shouldn't look at, go into these D-backs. Kettle Marte leading off, Gurriel in the 3-hole. I mean, I think all these righties, especially with the power that they have, going to be lower owned later at night. You said it, the lineup's not out yet. The D-backs are one of my top 4 stacks tonight, just based on the fact that they're getting to play Rich Hill, who's a lefty, who the Diamondbacks hit left-handed pitching pretty good.
Yeah, so what we have to do, Ham, is we got to put Luis Castillo and 4 Diamondbacks just to shove it to Sean V, it sounds like. Don't play Castillo. Don't play D-backs. Castillo, first one in. Give me 5 D-backs, and then we'll find that someone else Sean V doesn't like as well. We'll make a Sean V hate team and see how it does. Just messing with you, Sean V. And Steve asked who Sean V's favorite stacks are, so we'll see who he likes shortly. Yeah, hopefully the D-backs can't do worse than yesterday. At least I can tell myself that.
Yeah.
3 games left on the slate. New York Mets, San Diego Padres, Justin Verlander, Yu Darvish. 65 degrees in San Diego. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty easy for me. As easy as it gets as a cross off. What you got?
Yeah, same thing. No bats for me. Minimal interest in both pitching. I mean, it's a cool night in San Diego. Total is, what'd you say? It's 8.5?
Eight. Maybe it's up to 8.5, but yeah.
I mean, these Padres obviously have some power, have some pop, but I'm just gonna find better bats and better spots tonight than these Padres. Same thing with the Mets. The Mets, every time I stack them, they score 0 runs. And last night I'm off of them, and everybody's hitting a home run. So I can't figure the Mets out, and I'm not going to try to figure them out tonight.
Yeah, definitely needed the O's in the Mets yesterday. No doubt about that. They absolutely went off. We got 2 games left. Again, we appreciate that like button, that subscribe button. You want all of our content at SHIPIT Nation, projections, stack rankings, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, Discord, core plays from Hamwich, G Ryzen, Hoop, Nades, Cash Report, all of that good stuff, as well as MMA, monster prize pools tomorrow, 200K up top. Love to see some SHIPIT Nation logos up there. PGA Showdown as well going on. No better time to join. $59 a month, $599 a year. Can't get a better deal. NFL will be approaching. NBA, next thing you know, you blink and it'll be NBA season. Best ball content as well. Head over to shipitnation.com. 2 games left, and you keep saying some better bats I'd rather play. I'm wondering if one of these teams is it. Los Angeles Angels, Los Angeles Dodgers, the Battle of LA. Griffin Canning, Tony Gonsolin on the mound. It's only 70 degrees. It was a little cooler in Dodger Stadium yesterday as well. I mean, Muncy, Freeman, they have enough pop. It doesn't really matter what the temp is. They get a hold of one, it's going to go. Are the Dodgers one of your favorite stacks on the slate?
Yeah, I like the Dodgers tonight. I really do. They're going to be lower owned, just based off the Red Sox and the Rangers. Canning has performed well the last 30 days, but when I can get Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, who had the night off last night, Muncy's been terrible all year, but he hit a home run last night. JD Martinez. I mean, 1 through 5, I'm interested in against Canning. I think they can get to him and get to this Angels bullpen. I'm really high on the Dodgers tonight. And I would love to play the Angels because I do not think Tony Gonsolin is any good. But, man, it's tough to click those names outside of Ohtani. And even he's been banged up a little bit. But so no Angels for me. But I do have tons of interest in the Dodgers tonight.
We got 1 game left on the slate. And, man, I'm very jealous of you, Joey. He just finished up his last day of work, and he's headed to Germany. I'll admit, I've never even been out of the country. One of these days I'll get out there. Germany sounds like an absolute blast, though. He needs a little extra money in his pocket for vacation. So hopefully we help you get that done today. But have a blast in Germany. Perfect time with the All-Star break coming up next week. We got one game left on the slate. Interested to see if you have any interest in this one. Colorado Rockies, San Francisco Giants, Austin Gomber, Ross Stripling. It's only 60 degrees in San Fran. Winds are howling out there, 25 miles an hour. Unfortunately, the ballpark, the winds does not mean as much in San Fran, but not every day you see 25 mile an hour winds blowing directly out to center. I love picking on Austin Gomber. I think he's awful. Every time he's in Coors, whoever he's playing, they are the chalk of all chalk. But I don't love playing in cold weather right now. That's right here in San Fran. Don't love playing bats in San Fran. And they pinch hit all the time. Like, who's not going to get pinch hit for? I want to like some of these Giants, but like Wilmer crushes lefties. But is he going to get pinch hit for if a lefty comes in? JD Davis, like Slater. I don't really know. They're cheap enough where I don't think taking a shot on it's crazy. I think Gomber is bad. But then I go to the park, then I go to the weather, and it's like, man, it's a 12-game slate. Are the Giants really going to be on the winner? Talk to me, though, because I'm kind of conflicted on this one.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they've hit notoriously. Wilmer Flores has hit, lefties well. Austin Slater, the same thing. But man, it's tough to click those names when in the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth inning, when the opposing manager is going to go to a lefty in the bull or a righty in the bullpen, you know that they're going to get pitch hit for. So tough to click those names. The only one that I would have interest in, Patrick Bailey, batting in the 5-hole at catcher tonight. I do like him. As a one-off, but I can't stack the Giants. I'm with you when it comes to Gomber. I think he's not any good, but I'm not gonna get my guy pinch hit for in the fourth inning and just be tilted the rest of the night. So Patrick Bailey is the only one that I would have any interest tonight in this game as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, Bailey definitely would be my favorite too, just because switch hitter, he's not getting pinch hit. Man, I just wish I knew some of these. I love picking on Gomber. I don't think taking a shot on San Fran's some of these guys is the craziest thing with the ownership, with the prices, and who knows when that lineup's going to come out. But yeah, it is pretty hard to see Giants on the winner on a 12-game slate. That is all 12 games. So I'm going to ask Ham his favorite 4 stacks. Then we're going to go dong of the day, low-ish own pitcher of the day. Then we'll get on out of here. All the content will be up at SHIPITNation.com. Ham, top 4 stacks today. What you got?
Yeah, number 1, I'm gonna go. I was gonna say. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers as my number 1 stack. Number 2 would be Arizona, specifically the righties. And then I can't, as we talked through this, and this was good for me. And I didn't want to play Boston and Texas, but I mean, I think after talking through this slate, I mean, you got to have Boston and Texas, in your top 4 for sure. And then my sneaky stack of the day would be the Minnesota Twins would come in number 5 for me.
Yeah, the more we went through it and I saw ownership and all that, I was like, yeah, Minnesota might be 5-man, maybe a little tougher. But if you go a Buxton, you go a Miranda, you go to the bottom, Willie Castro, something. I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing by any means going to some of these Twins. My favorite's definitely Texas, then the Diamondbacks. After that, yeah, it definitely is a little tough. I'm going to say San Fran, man. I love picking on Gomber. I don't usually do it against the park, the cold weather, but I'm going to go San Fran 3. If I have to give a 4th one, maybe the Guardians, because they're very cheap. Dusty Daniel Lynch. I'll say some of these Guardians, but it wouldn't be a 5-man stack. I'd go a 3-man, get away cheap if you are stacking Texas or you're paying up at pitcher and something like that. We're going to go
no Boston for you, though.
No, with the owner, I just really think they're going to be like, even from them to Texas, I think you're going to see a pretty big ownership gap. Their prices, they're free. You look at Oakland, everyone likes picking on it. Warren and Fenway. Like, yeah, gun to my head, who scores the most runs? Yeah, I'd probably say Boston, but that's not the game we play. So cash games, you'll see me with Boston. No doubt about that, though.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. You got to play the ownership game, 12-game slate, enough teams. Now we're going dong of the day. Richie Smalls, you took my dong of the day. I said it yesterday. Did not work out one bit. I'm going right back to it, though. Christian Walker goes deep against Rich Hill. I like these D-backs. He's been swinging a hot stick besides yesterday. Gets the platoon advantage. Great matchup. I think he goes deep against Rich Hill. Made it easy for me, Richie Smalls, too. I just had to click that up there, even though that was mine the whole time. What you got, Ham?
Yeah, let me just confirm he's in the lineup before I give out his name.
I can look for you otherwise.
Yeah, I'm here right now. Is it confirmed? No, it's still projected. But batting in the one hole, Lane Thomas for the Nationals. He's definitely going yard tonight. I'm gonna give the people a second one. My second favorite stack, Christian Walker is taking Rich Hill deep tonight as well. Christian Walker and Lane Thomas, my two dong calls of the day.
I love it. Yeah, I don't know why that lineup's not out yet. Pretty weird. Game's not even less than 2 hours.
As I said, yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, so now we're gonna talk low-ish owned pitcher. I mean, there's so many pitchers today. I guess it doesn't. I guess anyone. Who are you gonna have the most exposure to? I guess at pitcher. I mean, they're all gonna kind of relatively be spread out.
I hope Sean V's not listening to this broadcast anymore. But I'll have the most. Luis Castillo, Sean V. I hope you're wrong, my brother, because he's my SP1 tonight. So Luis Castillo, I'm playing in the 1500 on FanDuel tonight, and I'm hoping I can get to him on FD.
Castillo and then what was it? Five Rangers, I think, was the other spot that Sean V didn't like. So there we go. Yeah. Castillo Rangers for good old Sean V. Hamlet drinking Coronas? Is that what that was? Or
no,
is that a little
my Friday.
Seltzer?
My Friday no to
Modelo,
to Modelo, to G Ryzen.
You almost pour one out for G Ryzen right there with nothing under.
That's all I can. That's the only way I can imitate G Ryzen. I don't do anything else that G Ryzen does other than drink a Modelo.
Nah, you cracked it. You cracked a couple jokes throughout. G Ryzen's one of a kind, though, no doubt about that. I'll go favorite pitcher. I'll go Andrew Abbott again. He's not going to be low, and I think pitching's relatively spread out though. You get the highest score pitcher on this slate, you'll be happy. I think that will be Andrew Abbott. I'll keep picking on these Brewers. He's been good. So Andrew Abbott is my guy. Awesome stuff, Hamwich. Great show. All-Star break. Sunday's the last day, so you get one more show before then. Then you get from Monday to Thursday off. MLB will be back on Friday. A lot of stuff going on this week, and a lot of money to be made. MLB, of course, we have you covered. MMA, we got you covered. PGA Showdown, we got you covered as well. And I will shout out Pickett in the Discord. Man, DFS Production does League of Legends. Pickett has been giving so many winners in the tennis streets. I saw Jackson, he shipped like $4,000 in tennis using Pickett stuff. Other guys had some shippers as well with SHIPIT Nation logos up top. So if you are a member, if you're in the Discord, make sure you check out the general discussion stuff. People talk all different sports. Izzy sometimes talks his NASCAR as well. But awesome stuff, Hamwich. We appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. Hope everybody out there has a great weekend. Again, head over to drafters.com. Use the promo code SHIPIT to get 100% matching deposit bonus up to $100. And head over to shipitnation.com. Get in the Discord. Check out Hamwich, who he's on tonight. Hoop, G Ryzen, all of that good stuff. Have a great and safe weekend. We will be back later for Hamwich. I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.